Hello everyone and welcome to another gym review, and what I thought we'd do is give a slightly retro review this time. You're thinking, why am I doing this? What's the point? It's not a new movie. And one of the things that concerned me was the fact that if you look at the top 50 grossing films of all time, I think the earliest film is like 1994. You think about it, think how long movies have been made for, and think of the 50 biggest grossing films of all time as maybe being made in the last 20 years. And what I thought was something that concerned me was some of the films that I like will just fall out of disrepute. They'll just be like, it was a film. Like if I had a son or a daughter, they'd be like, mate, seriously, that was the films that you enjoyed. That film sucked balls. So what I was thinking about, the film that I thoroughly enjoyed when I was a little bit younger was Saving Private Ryan, and then I began to think about it and think, why was that film so good? And one of the biggest things that made that film so good, I think everybody can agree on this, was the initial 20 to 22 minutes opening scene past the point where Matt Damon's older character reaches the cemetery. Is that was unforgiving, completely. It was one of those films where that opening scene when they reach Omaha Beach, there was no breath. There was no way to take a breath. It was just 20 minutes of pure action. One of the things that stick out always in my mind is the bit where the guy Tom Hanks puts he's going to put the helmet back on his head, and he's looking around, and there's that guy that's walking along the beach with no arm, and he literally he's looking around for his arm and picks his arm off of the ground. I'm just like, what other film has shown you war in that way? The problem with it is the inaccuracy of it. I understand that there's always artistic license when it comes to a specific movie, but it was the way, once I got a little bit older, I was like, come on, man, that's just not the way shit operates. And then so I actually wanted to take a look into it. For example, to me, Tom Hanks' character as the captain is fantastic. He plays it really well. He wants his men to survive. He wants to play it right, but he knows that at the end of the day, not everything is going to work out, but he's going to try his best to get everybody out there alive. But you can see the realistic situation of it all, and his men believe in him. Now, something I wanted to talk about was the fact that, which is the whole premise of the film. As much as I enjoy it, is basically based on the what's it called? Not the intrusion. What's it called? The attack on Omaha Beach is the fact that one of the final brother of the Ryan family dies. So based on the fact that I can't remember his name because Matt Damon's character is the sole survivor male of the Ryan family. So basically, the whole premise of the film is the fact that Tom Hanks' platoon has got to go and find this guy and tell him that that's you. You're going home. You don't have to fight in the war. You're exempt from the war. The problem with that, historically, is the fact that this law, which is called the sole survivor policy, didn't actually come into effect until 1948, which is 4 years after the fact of what actually happened in the film. The second thing that I wanted to also discuss was the fact that, I don't know, I'm assuming obviously there's Americans that have many different opinions on the previous presidents, but I kind of get the feeling like Abraham Lincoln is this crazy, wisdomous, one of the best presidents that the world has ever seen, as far as Americans concerned. And I'm going to take this quote, and it bothers me because I feel honestly, I do feel a lot of time that Abraham Lincoln is a guy that is viewed and revered as one of the best presidents for America that has ever lived. And this is literally a quote from him. It says, "If I could save the Union without freeing any slave, I would do it. And if I could save it by freeing all the slaves, I would do it. And if I could save it by freeing some and leaving others alone, I would also do that. I've here stated my purpose according to my view of official duty, and I intend no modification of my oft expressed personal wish that all men everywhere could be free." So basically what he's saying is no matter what it took, he wanted to unite the country. That was it. That was his goal. But the thing is, people was like, "Oh, Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves." Yeah, he freed the slaves because it was beneficial to do so. Whereas in this quote, he specifically says that he would do whatever it took to unite the country. The reason I bring this up, you're like, why I bring this up? Because I'm just trying to see the contrast between the person that Abraham Lincoln actually was and the person that they try to portray him again in Saving Private Ryan. Because what actually happens is the fact that find out that all the Ryans have been killed, and then that once they find that out, they bring it to the general. The general basically says, alright, what's happening? One of the, I don't know if it's a subordinate colonel, whatever, says, well, it's not, it's just not worth it. There's no point in doing it. And then the general brings out a quote from Abraham Lincoln, which is apparently a message to a mother, explaining the fact that all our sons have been killed. So, in that point, in that fact, the general feels that it's worthy to send a platoon to collect a son of a family if it's the last son. And that's it. That's the whole premise. That's the point of why it gets going. So I just wanted to see the contrast between the true Abraham Lincoln in a certain aspect and the inspiration you can feel from screenwriting. Now, I truly love Saving Private Ryan. I cannot speak. I'm sorry. One of the most significant parts for me, spoilers. I'm calling spoilers. Mute your TV now. Is when they're fighting the Germans within the building, and then the guy is fighting the single German with his knife, and the German gets the upper hand, and then slowly starts to sink the knife into his chest, and you can tell the American guy's just begging his life. He's like, "Don't do it, like, so please no, please no." And he's like so slow as it goes into him, and he's kind of like, and the first time I saw that, I thought there's never been another film that I've ever seen that in. I can't remember who plays it because I haven't finished watching the movie. I should probably done that after I finished watching the movie because I think, where am I? Let me just check right here. I'm 38 minutes into it. But the other thing is the guy that shits his cell and like lets people die, but once they're going to cross the bridge, he gets up and tells all the people to freeze, and he becomes like this kind of like war hero. Like, fuck you, man! You're like 3 of your fucking squad die. Fuck you, you're a piece of shit. All I want to say is like, at the end of the day, I know this is rife for like historical inaccuracy, and it makes a fantastic story. And I truly, truly, really enjoy the film. It's a great film. There's great acting. Jackson's the bomb, the sniper. It's a really good. There's good emotional moments in it. The plot moves along well, but I don't feel I'm bored. I don't feel like I'm like waiting for the next like explosion to happen. But there is some things to be considered when you think about the actual original point and plot of the film. You can tell me what you think, and I'll catch you all next time.